a Goizueta Scholar Leadership Pipeline Program. So what this is it was made possible through a large grant to develop and recruit 4 cohorts, each of 25 scholars. So we're recruiting students to become part of a leadership cohort where each year, instead of just receiving a large sum of money for the scholarship, they actually participate in various programming each year.
I am currently in my second semester as a junior here at Georgia State. I am from Cedartown, Georgia, originally. That's in northwest Georgia. And both of my parents immigrated from Mexico. So I chose Georgia State really on a whim. I was either debating going here or to just a community college. And at the end of the day, I saw everything Georgia State had to offer, and I applied, and then luckily was offered to apply for Goizueta Scholarship, and I got it.
I was born in El Paso, Texas. I am currently majoring in early childhood education at Georgia State University, and I'm enrolled in the dual program, so I will be qualified to teach general education and special education. I chose Georgia State because, first of all, Georgia State has one of the best education programs in Georgia. I love the diversity of Georgia State, and I also love the location. It's right in Atlanta, and I do prefer the city. The day I found out I got the scholarship, I was a senior in high school. It was during my theater class, 4th period, and you're normally not supposed to have your phones during classes, but it was a theater class. So I noticed that someone was calling me during the day, which was really odd. And so I just decided to take it. Amy, it was her, and she just said, I just wanted to inform you that you have been chosen as one of the recipients of the Goizueta Scholarship. And my first response was, really? As if she was joking. And she was like, yeah, really? You're chosen? And then I, of course, said thank you. I'm really honored to be a recipient of this scholarship. And then I hung up, and then I pretty much yelled at my friends excitedly. So that was how it went down. And then I immediately, of course, texted my mom.
I'm Dominican and Pakistani, and I identify myself more with the Dominican side. My mom is Dominican, and I live with her. I'm studying right now. My undergraduate, it's nursing, and I want to be a neonatal nurse practitioner. And I just want to be that because I love babies, and I like nurturing babies and stuff like that. I volunteer at the NICU at Atlanta Medical, and I just like rocking the babies and taking care of them.
I was born in New York, but when I was 3, I moved to Colombia. I lived there until I was 7, and then in 2001 I moved back to Georgia, and I've been here ever since. Studying political science with a concentration in international affairs and a minor in sociology. I chose this major because I think that it's the perfect study to go into the United Nations. I'm actually in Model United Nations right now. I've been in it for 3 years, so I find that it's a great stepping stone to what I want to do. And I also think that it gives great insight as to how the world works and how privileged we are to live here and what we can do to help other countries and other people in need with the power that we have in the United States. The moment that Amy called me and told me, hey, I just wanted to let you know that you got the Goizueta Scholarship, I screamed. I started jumping around alone in my house by myself, but I was super excited. I could not contain it.
Well, my name is Moses Martinez. I'm born in Atlanta, Grady Hospital. My parents, they're from El Salvador and Honduras. So I'm getting a degree in business administration and managerial sciences. And the reason why I chose to go with managerial sciences is because it kind of go hand in hand with what I'm actually doing right now. Because currently I'm a general manager at Papa John's, so it's just business, has to do with managing, you know. It's like the class. I'm actually managing people, the organizations, numbers, costs, and my overall goal is profit and quality. Well, it was 2 reasons why I picked Georgia State. They accepted me. the scholarship, because without scholarship it would have been a little bit tougher for me to actually go to school.
I was from El Salvador. My dad's from the Dominican Republic. I grew up in New York until I was 10 years old. And then in 2005, we moved to Georgia, and I went to North Gwinnett High School, and now I'm at Georgia State. Okay, so I picked Georgia State for it being so close to home. My mom and I are really close, and I knew I was going to miss her if I went anywhere else. Aside from, being picked as a Goizueta scholar, I felt the diversity at Georgia State was really going to cater to me as a Latina student, and, I'm really glad that it definitely has in these last 4 years. I got a call from Atlanta, and I answered very quietly behind the desk, and I was like, hello, this is Crystal, and it was Amy Molina calling to tell me that I was awarded the scholarship, and I thanked her very quietly. I was like, okay, thank you so much, I really appreciate the offer. I hung up the phone and I ran through the hallways looking for my mom, but she wasn't there, so I told her best friend, and I screamed, I'm going to Georgia State, I got a scholarship, and then they announced it over the PA system at the end of the day.
I am studying applied linguistics. I really want to teach abroad. I'm going to teach English abroad to little first graders or elementary school. I think learning is very important, especially in our community. So, and also I love to travel, so why not do both at the same time? Being able to travel and able to teach the younger generations.
I am studying accounting, and I decided to do accounting simply because growing up my family had business stores, so ever since I was literally a toddler I knew everything about the business world, and I just fell in love with it and decided to pursue accounting. I got a phone call back saying, hey, Alejandra, and obviously I answered saying yes, it's a she, and the person on the phone actually said, congratulations, you're the newest recipient for the Goizueta scholarship. I exploded with happiness and joy and shock. Right then and there, I knew that I was coming to college.
I'm a public policy major with a nonprofit leadership concentration, and I have a minor in psychology as well, and I'm part of the honors college here at Georgia State. My dad came in actually at my job, and he said that I had a call, and I was just really nervous, and I asked to step out, and I called Amy back, and that's when she told me that I had received the scholarship, and I was still in shock. I was in shock, but I had to go back to work, and my manager was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just won a scholarship, and I was just really excited, and everybody at my job was really excited, and they all applaud because they just saw how blessed I was, because not a lot of people were able to have that opportunity, and so it was really exciting.
So every year for the incoming Goizueta scholars, we take them on a retreat. So we give all these scholars and some upperclassmen the opportunity to take a little bit of a time out, to connect and bond with one another and to do some good work.
We were painting and helping a man who can't really paint his house. We were painting it for him, and it was really fun. It was and then at the end when he was saying how happy he was at the job we did, and it was our first time painting, well, my first time. So it was really nice to help him and then him say that we did a good job.
When I went to the retreat, I was kind of nervous and I didn't know anyone, and I feel like a lot of people were like this, but after just one day we all got to know each other and we all became close to each other and we became like a family.
I think one of the best memories was when we stayed up all night till 6 o'clock in the morning, and we just hung out in the fields just looking at the stars and getting to know each other. It was different. Looking back now, I never thought that I could have a group of friends like that, and I'm so happy that we're still friends, that we get to see each other on campus, that we get to hang out, and that I was able to create those connections and memories with them.
Everything that we did those 2 days had to be done with somebody else. It was impossible to accomplish the mission alone. You can't move the whitewater raft alone. You can't go through the ropes course without somebody who went before you to guide you, to tell you don't do this and avoid that pitfall. Everybody's high-fiving and giggling and singing songs and dancing and having fun, but they're doing it together. Let this feeling carry on to the first day of classes on August 22nd or whatever the first day was this semester.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
I've had a passion for marching band ever since I started sophomore year of high school. I started listening to more marching band, more classical music, more different stuff, and it just really opened my mind and kind of taught me different ways of how to think about music, how to perceive music. An interesting experience since day one. From playing trumpet, I got to meet a lot of different people. A lot of people come and go, but it's definitely an interesting experience. I've been blessed to be a part of the band for the time I have, considering I've marched in the second presidential inaugural parade for Obama, and I've marched in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I remember watching President Obama from the corner of my eye as I was playing trumpet. I saw him from the corner of my eye, and I saw him clapping along. I was like, he likes our band. He likes the stuff we play. It was pretty amazing just seeing him from the side.
I came home one night. Throughout the whole day, I went out with my mom, and we were talking about my future plans and what would happen if this happened, what would happen if I were accepted to the program. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to think about it anymore because it was stressful, maybe knowing that I could not get in. So, but I came home one night and I found a letter in the mail, and it was a fat letter from Georgia State School of Nursing. And when I felt that it was fat and not thin, I felt hope, you know. So I was so excited. I went to my room and just opened it by myself, and it said there that I had been accepted to the program. And it was so exciting, and I cried for a few minutes by myself, but then I went to show my mother, and we cried together because it meant so much, you know. It's not just the career aspect of it, but also being able to be a healthcare provider for people who, you know, don't have access to health. When I had my Grady internship as a psychiatric rotation, it opened my eyes to so many things that we don't know about mental illness. Especially in the Latino community, there's a certain kind of stigma that you can't talk about being addicted to alcohol or illegal drugs, or they get the sense that they can't get help or that they can stop whenever they want. There's a certain kind of stigma in minority communities around mental health, and that's what made me pursue opportunities in the field. So that's what led me to Peachford Hospital, right where I'm at right now.
An REU program. It's a research for undergraduates, and it was held at Texas Tech University. I focused on software engineering and just issues within software engineering, and I was able to research and find there's a huge gap between something called a specification, which is one of the beginning parts when you're testing or when you're creating software. And one of the issues is that just developers don't take the time out to write a specification. So I started developing a tool that will basically write a specification as the developer's coding their program, so that the developer doesn't have to take the time to go out and write that in plain English. This past March, I started working at Georgia Pacific, and I work in their digital marketing department. So basically what we do is we support all the websites within Georgia Pacific. My main focus is QA, which is quality assurance, and I test the websites, make sure that all the requirements that the brands give us are included in the website, make sure that everything's functioning correctly. And I also, on the side, I also take on my own projects, and I perform content updates and push websites and make sure everything is well within the team.
I'm currently at Winholt Elementary School in Lawrenceville, and it's an incredibly diverse school. There's a really large Hispanic population, which is why I wanted to student teach there. I'm teaching full time, so I'm offering support for my cooperating teacher. As the student teaching progresses, I end up taking more of the class time. So I start teaching more and more until I'm teaching for the whole day, which that was last week. I was teaching literally everything, handling transitions, taking the students where they had to go, making sure all the students had what they needed to have. And I love the class itself. It's an inclusive classroom, so it has students who are in special education, it has students who are English language learners, and it can be hard at times, but it's a lot more rewarding than it is difficult, and I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
HSF is a Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and we have a Scholar chapter here at Georgia State. And I was involved in HSF since I was a freshman, but I wasn't on the board until this year. And so what HSF does is just help the community and promote Latino education, and really it's a very important issue for me. I think that we need more representation, and like kids in high school need to hear more about it. Even in middle school, they need to hear and see people who are like them, that have gone through it and have been through similar situations and have persevered. So that's why I'm involved in HSF. And so we do a lot of social activities, a lot of service activities in our community, and really just to promote education and help others in high school and the parents and everything, so that they can also find a path in higher education. So again, with Alpha, I've also been involved since I was a freshman. I found out through another Goizueta, Tiffany. I remember she was very passionate about it. She was the president at the time. And the reason I wanted to get involved was because when I was a freshman, I felt like I had so much time, and I just wanted to, figure out exactly what I wanted to do and just get involved in anything I could. And with Alpha, since I'm a business major, it was perfect. So it was just really great to see, empowering Latinos in the business field, and especially like Tiffany. She was a huge push for that and a huge motivation at the time. And with Alpha, right now I'm their marketing chair. So I do a lot of their promotions and social media stuff and create flyers. And so it's just good to get everyone together and network. A lot of people that I know have gotten opportunities through Alpha, great internships. I was able to attend a symposium in Orlando and meet other people from Florida. So it's been great.
When I went for my GM interview, that thing was pretty freaky. I'm I'm sitting down in front of like 5 big bosses, and they're all staring at you, and you're talking, and sometimes, you're not trying to choke up and you're trying to do the best you can, but it's just overall professional development really helps you. But now it's like I'm actually looking for certain traits. I'm looking for qualities. I'm looking for reliability. I'm looking for, hey, is this person going to be on the phone all the time, or, they're going to actually be working and doing stuff. I set down my expectations when I sit down and I talk to them. And then I actually ask them stuff like, what's your weakness? Because that's actually kind of cool to know what somebody thinks they're weak. And then if you got someone who's cocky and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm not weak at anything. No, that's not true. Everyone has a weakness. And it's just things that helps you to look for what you need. Really comes down to being a good leader. Because if you're managing people. You could be managing, let's say, product, quality, sales, customer complaints. You can manage all kinds of stuff. And it just comes down to, being a good leader. You might have a team, and you gotta respond to their needs, look out, see what you need, and just basically overall be a good leader.
SI stands for Supplementary Instruction, and what it is, it gives students an opportunity to teach other students. And we actually don't use the word teach, we say just provide assistance. So we lead 3 50-minute sessions, creating a group atmosphere, and we do group activities that reinforces the material but also allows students to get comfortable and ask questions that they wouldn't ask a professor. I assigned for macroeconomics 2105. So it's the first intro level to economics. It was awesome because actually one of the students that I had in my SI that came all the time was one of the younger Goizuetas. So even able to start that connection in a way that I'm helping her academically but also mentoring her the semester after I did it, and she came to my SI, she became an SI. So it's cool how we're continuing.
I did an internship for 4 months with Turner Broadcasting over at William Street. They're the Adult Swim part of the network. So I was working with the on-air program, and on-air is basically sponsorship, advertisements, and promotions for the network. So it's all different kind of like commercials. Everything that's not a TV show that airs on Adult Swim was what I was helping create. And I got to meet a lot of cool people like Mike Lazo. He runs Adult Swim. He started as like a mailroom attendant at Turner Broadcasting, and then he got his own like station. So it was like everyone over there, like if you work hard, they'll like notice you and they'll give you chances to like show your work, and that's what I really liked. Everyone had a lot of creative agency, but it's really busy working at a television network. Things change every day, and there's always deadlines, and everything's shifting, and I had to manage like a lot of the calendars for them, so that was something that I wasn't really used to. That and just like meeting so many people that you don't know when you're going to see them again, so you want to like make a lot of good contacts, especially when you're working in like an art industry, just because they're the people you can turn to help you out when you want like work later on. I really want to go back and maybe try to work on the other side of Turner Broadcasting over at Cartoon Network. They do the young kids animation, which is more stuff that I'm interested in.
This year, I've done over 100 volunteer hours through the Office of Civic Engagement and Panther Wakeaway and Hands in Atlanta. And overall, my past 4 years here at Georgia State, I've done over 250 hours of volunteer work. And because of my volunteer work through the Office of Engagement, I've also am receiving a Volunteer Service Award for President Obama. 2014, I worked on the Jason Carter for Governor campaign. And so I was a fellow for that campaign, and so I just did a lot of rallies. I did a lot of canvassing. I did a lot of cold calls. I just was there essentially as a volunteer. And we just tried to get the word out and information about our candidate. And through that's how I got to meet President Obama and President Carter through that work. And I got to know essentially how local politics works in our state.
So the USHLE Conference, the United States Hispanic Leadership Institute, where students from all across the United States come together and attend various workshops. Some have to deal with professional networking, some have to deal with different career paths and internships and graduate schools. And so we took 15 students to Chicago, and they were able to experience, some of them for the first time, a big national conference and what that meant.
It was a really great opportunity really to network and learn from everyone at the USHLE conference. Now, really the basis of this trip was for us to go in and take in as much information from different workshops and different speakers, and then bring it back here and kind of try and take what we learned and apply it to what we're doing here. I think it's been a great success both times I've gone. I've been able to take back information and use it in projects for like Galileo and just personal research that I've been wanting to do.
Well, that trip allowed me to meet people, other students from other universities in the area that are also working in their communities to provide a sense of justice in Latino communities, in education, in healthcare, in immigration, which I thought was amazing that young people are taking initiatives to make other people's lives better.
Well, USHLE was so much fun. It was a great bonding experience with all of the people that went, but just the conference itself was great. We were able to network with other students, other professionals, other Latinos in the U.S. We learned about multiple things, issues that are going on in the U.S. with the Latino population, and education. There was a career fair, or like graduation fair, for grad school and like for students who were in high school. And then also the social aspect of getting to know, Chicago. I had never been to Chicago, and I love traveling and seeing new places, so Chicago was really great.
I got to interact with the younger Goizuetas, which was really nice because I hadn't really had a chance to meet most of them. And going to conferences like that empowers you. go to these places where you meet successful Latinos and you're so used to hearing, oh, you're Latina, wow, it must be really hard, you're probably not gonna make it, or man, you have so many boundaries, are you even legal? Like, you hear all those negative things, and so you go to these conferences and you see so many successful Latinos, and it just makes you want to go up there. You get to network, you get to like see just how far education can take you and what you can do with it, and even in the most unexpected places. Because we went with such a large group, it was so enjoyable. We got to make so many friendships, and all of us with the same idea to go and empower ourselves even more. I think because this is all focused on leadership, we always go with the intention of growing, but also enjoying it. So I think it was a phenomenal experience. It was the first conference that I didn't go in attempts to compete, because Model UN is only competition. This was actually like an effort to make me learn and to give me insight as to what I can do, where I can go. So it was great. It was great.
Chicago. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Yeah, it was the USHLI conference. That also really opened my eyes to some of the struggles and things that Latinos have to go through with, in terms of just, being seen as a professional. I wasn't aware of some of these things, but now I am, and I'm really grateful for that.
Continuing the Dream has actually been a project very near and dear to my heart. A couple of other Goizueta scholars from my own cohort decided that we wanted to give back to the community as a part of our capstone project. So these Goizueta scholars and I decided that we had been very blessed, and we were very grateful with having pretty much a full ride here to Georgia State, and we wanted to give back to those who unfortunately aren't as blessed. So what we did was actually have Goizueta scholars fund or give a donation every month. We raffled an iPad mini, which was actually very, very successful, and we were able to fund up to close to $2,000, and hopefully we can give this to an undocumented student so they can attend school either here in Georgia or wherever, but essentially give them help to attend a university just as we were blessed to.
So continuing the dream was that an idea that started actually back in USHLI about a year ago. In a workshop, we were challenged by one of the speakers to get together with some of our friends and really give everything that we have towards something that we're really committed towards. And that's our time and our money, which I think a lot of people don't often do when they think about volunteering or giving back to the community. So continuing the dream is a scholarship that is started by 20 Goizueta students, 2012 cohort. What we hope to do is to raise funds to give back another scholarship for an undocumented student that has to pay out-of-state tuition. I would say 60% of it has been donated by the 2012 cohort, which I think is amazing, and it really shows the power that students have when they come together. Undocumented students are not able to apply to essentially any scholarships that you and I would be able to apply to. So just having a scholarship that is not only open to them, but it's just geared towards undocumented students, and the fact that it's all fundraised and comes from students, I think it's a pretty amazing thing.
LLI program is a college readiness and peer mentoring program originally made possible through this grant. So what we do is we take current Goizueta scholars as well as current GSU students who have been leaders on campus, and we've developed a partnership with 6 Cobb County high schools. So we implement a college readiness and leadership program at these 6 schools, particularly for high school juniors and seniors. So the whole point of this is to demystify the process, the college application process, FAFSA, all of these aspects that go into play in getting to college. So we provide the students with the knowledge resources as well as give them an opportunity to start connecting with students who are in college, where the current students are able to share their experiences of what the college process is like, what the students can expect, and different ways that college can be used to get the high school students to achieve whatever goals that they might have.
I've been grateful to have the opportunity to work with LLI, the Latino Leadership Initiative, for the 4 years that I've been here at Georgia State University. I've really seen the program grow and become what it is now. With LLI, we go out to high schools in Cobb County and we help mentor high school students who want to go to college. And we help them with the application process. We go over their essays, we go over SAT and ACT prep, and we go over professionalism and leadership development to make them well-rounded students. Recently this year I had the opportunity to be the LLI school leader for Wheeler High School. And it was a great responsibility and I really enjoyed it. It was the first year that we went to Wheeler High School because originally we only went to 6 schools and now we go to 7. And the students there had a great time, they participated, they really got a lot out of it. Since I've been doing LLI for about 4 years, I've actually had the opportunity to mentor actually some of the now Goizueta scholars because they were also part of the program. So seeing them go through high school, go through the program, and successfully make it to Georgia State University as a Goizueta scholar really is a great payoff.
And it's actually a very enriching program. The mentors are awesome and the information they give you, it's like you can't find it in any other place. They're so specific and they're very helpful. But in the program itself, I think just like looking at the campus and just like knowing a little bit more about like financial information, career information, that was really helpful, especially as a junior, because I think that's when you're starting to think about what do you want to do in college. I remember I had my mentor last year, her name was Reina, and she would always be like trying to help me out in every way that I could. She reminded me of the meetings. She was very, very helpful. And going back to Cobb County, which is where I'm from as well, I think we have a little bit more of a connection and it'll be really fun, and I hope to help out a lot. That really helped me determine that this is where I wanted to be.
It was really fun. They actually helped me a lot with like ACTs and SATs. My counselors didn't really tell me how important they were, or like they didn't tell me when I should take them. They were just like, okay, yeah, you don't need to do this yet. And they didn't tell me until like senior year, like halfway. And because of the LLI program, like they let me know ahead of time, like, hey, you need to start taking your SATs, ACTs. They also helped me with the application process. Like my parents did not know like what I was supposed to do. And so I called them up, and my mentors, they helped me. They were like, okay, well, this is like what you need to do. If you don't understand anything, I'll let you know like how to do it. And then also with FAFSA, they helped me with that too. For me, it's a nice feeling knowing that I can help somebody else get into college and like get them to pursue higher education. I would definitely recommend the program.
With LLI, we do a lot of leadership components. We tell them how to build a resume, how to stand out from the crowd, how to do better on their SATs and their ACTs, what type of things will make them become better off in college, what tips they should do, like start preparing for now, so when they're in college they don't have to stress about it, and it's better for them to start working on that now instead of when they start college.
I love being able to mentor these high school kids into telling them that, you know, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can go to college. If I could do it, you could do it. And it was kind of sad at the same time because some kids were just so down about it and they're like, no, I can't do it. I can't, like, I don't have money. I can't do this. And I was like, well, I was in your same position. Yes, you can. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Nothing's impossible. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer, but as long as you get it done, you can do it. And as long as you have the ambition and goals, you can do it. They reminded me of my sister because my sister's in high school, and being able to help them, tell them that they can complete their goals, that they can accomplish their goals, that nothing's impossible. It was able to like uplift them, and it was an amazing opportunity to like give back to my community, and I loved it. That's why I went back for 2 more years.
I've also had the opportunity to work with the LLI summer program, which is a lot of fun, where we bring students from Cobb County high schools to the university for about a week in the summer, and we take them around downtown Atlanta to give them the full experience about Atlanta, about the college life and how to get into college.
Actually, the LLI summer program helped me pick Georgia State because they didn't just go around the campus. They went farther than that. They went to the Coca-Cola Center. We went to the Capitol, and it was just very nice seeing like how Georgia State is in the middle of like the city, and you have so much to do. And not only that, but like their programs here, like their educational programs.
The activities we did, they were really fun, and like it showed you like a lot of like communication skills and how to be a leader. And we went to like a lot of different places, and those places like helped you see culture in a different way, as well as like how you should be involved with like your community.
There had to be around 120 earned college degrees sitting in the audience. We had associate deans. We had deans of colleges right here in Georgia. We had people from all over the country, and they came. Every single seat was filled. We had to have about 40 people in that session. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. And of course, these professionals chose to come to our session because we highlighted this is designed and delivered by our undergraduate students. And they came to listen. There wasn't an empty seat in that room. I counted about 120 college degrees. They came to learn from our Goizueta scholars. So I see that as a manifestation of kind of the contract we entered with ourselves as practitioners. We entered that contract with the Goizueta Foundation. We entered that contract with students that we set out to, and this was years ago in the past, we are setting out to create leaders. And that manifested itself in an opportunity that very few undergraduates get. To present at a national level professional higher education conference where, again, there are deans of colleges taking copious notes based upon what they're learning from a senior or a junior in college. That doesn't happen every day. So that's a big victory for the Goizueta Foundation, for the Goizueta Scholarship Program, for the Lasso Office, and of course for the students involved in LLI.
Because of the success of the LLI program, a group of us had the opportunity to attend the HACU conference, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, this past year in Miami, where we gave a presentation on our program and what we're doing to ensure students make it to college, especially Latino students. It was amazing to me to see how many people from around the country wanted to learn more about our program and how well we're doing so they can go back to their universities and apply similar programs. When we were presenting on our LLI program at the HACU conference, our room actually filled up and we had people standing up in the back. So many people from around the country wanted to come and learn about our program and how they can help Latino students at their universities succeed. After our presentation, we actually got a lot of recognition because Melissa, Mia, and I, we were the only 3 students who actually presented at the conference that year.
And we got to expose just how much we value Latino students in GSU, what we do to empower Latino youth and graduating and increasing the graduation rate, lowering dropout rates. And so it was very nice to be able to present. We were 3 students, the only 3 students in the entire conference that were presenting. So it was an honor because nobody else had that opportunity, and everybody was shocked in a great way that it was the students that were leading the presentation for the most part.
We were able to speak about the impact that LLI has had in our own lives and other students' lives and how it's making a difference in the Atlanta area and its surroundings. So we went down and we presented about each of our individual experiences and what we have contributed to the program and how this program is impacting all of Georgia.
Right when I first started at Georgia State, I was really close to Greg Chisholm. He was our scholarship coordinator at the Honors College, and he really encouraged me to go back to Peru or go back to a different country and see what we could do as Georgia State students. We went to Honduras for a week. We built about a dozen beds for families that have nothing, and it was very impactful, to say the least. After we came back after freshman year's summer, Greg encouraged me to kind of invite more people to come to Honduras with me if I wanted to go back, which of course I did. And so, yeah, we had a group of 8 in total go this past summer. We built a home for a family from start to finish, obviously with the help of contractors and everything, but it took a lot more planning than anticipated, definitely. We had to get fundraising for the house. The trip itself is expensive because it's an international trip and has to cover, insurance and all of that, but it went very, very, very well. I think everybody that went on the trip felt impacted in a really positive way. Everybody has been doing great things since they've gotten back, and most of us are motivated to go back next year. So that's something that we just want to keep continuing to grow.
It was kind of nice to see people coming together to help. And the family we worked with too, is you could see their transformation throughout the 10 days that we were there. So the first day we met them, they didn't want to talk, never smiled. They were very closed off to us, but by the end, I remember they started crying because they didn't want us to leave. We got funds together to go give back to a community, very, very poor community, where they only have a clean water source once a week. When we were giving that package of food, it's probably about $10 worth of food, and it was supposed to feed them for about 2 weeks. When we went to one of the houses and a family was there, and one of the dad was in the house, and we knocked and we asked if we could come in, and he said yes. And the minute we walked into the house, he was telling us that he has been trying to build a new house for his family.
The best part of the trip was kind of the end, when we finished the house and were able to give that family the keys to their own house. Before, they lived in a house, you couldn't even call it a house. It was a home built with plastic bags, pieces of tin, and sticks. In Honduras, it rains a lot, so when it rains, their house would flood. So yeah, they would end up sleeping in mud a lot of the time during those rainy seasons and random rainy nights that happen all the time over there. And it's really unsanitary, it's dangerous. It's the reason why Honduras has a really low life expectancy, because there's a lot of bacteria and infection that can go on when you're barefoot, when you're sleeping where mud is. So to be able to take them out of that really dangerous situation and help them get back on their feet was incredible. We were able to, just the floor alone, I think, made a really big difference, but we were able to give them a couple of rooms. We went and got them tables and a fan because it's really hot there. And clothes, we were able to bring clothes, and it was really hard to say goodbye. So I think the last day we invited them to go to the beach with us. That was my favorite day, and it was a day where we all just got a little bit even closer than we'd already gotten over the week.
I was able to go to Venice, Italy for 4 months, and and Rosa, she's one of my best friends, so we got to go together, which made it easier, being somewhere that I wasn't familiar with. So I was able to take classes with students from a lot of different places because we were at Venice International University. Actually being somewhere else where most of the people in my class, English was their second language. And it was interesting to see their perspectives on the world and what they actually thought of a lot of different things. To me, that was the most important part, to get to travel and see the world, which I thought was amazing. I didn't think I was going to be able to go to as many places as I did.
And I actually did, end up going to Malaga, Spain for 6 months, and then while I was there, I traveled to 11 other countries. And I met the most amazing people. I mean, I still have friends from over there, and I keep in touch. And I have so many pictures, and I can't stop talking about it. So, yeah, I just really enjoyed it.
It was called the EU Studies Program in Strasbourg, France. I was literally a bridge over Germany. I stayed there for the fall semester. So we got to experience the Christmas markets. Culturally, it was a lot of things that I got to see. I was able to visit 9 different countries. and I was also able to visit the main European institutions, which was very parallel to what I'm studying right now, because we got to go to the European Parliament, the Council of Europe, the European Council, which are different things. We got to visit the NATO headquarters, and so all of this was so related to the international affairs that I'm studying. So it was very insightful, especially because the EU is also one of the most powerful institutions aside from the United States. So it was very insightful, and it was also very enjoyable. I made unforgettable friends. I was able to just venture out on my own and find out a lot of who I was, which sounds cheesy and like cliche maybe, but you learn a lot. Socially, you learn a lot culturally when you're on your own and like seeing new things and stepping out of your comfort zone. So it was great. I made friends everywhere I went. I fell in love with every city that I visited. I found out how positive any single experience could be, especially when you get lost in Paris and you don't speak perfect French yet. But it was the best experience of my life.
I studied abroad this past May in Morocco. The focus in Morocco was international business and marketing, so it was just perfect for me. In Morocco, they speak a lot of French also, so I was able to, get to hear the locals speak French and also use the French that I knew. And we did a lot of company visits, a lot of cultural visits. It was really great to see and learn more about Morocco and their culture. It's something I had never been, it's a very different culture that you're not used to seeing here, and it's great. I was able to be more, open to things, and also I feel like it has broadened my, my horizons and my mind. It's opened my mind to more cultures and other opportunities abroad.
So last semester I went to abroad in Italy, in Venice. It was a really amazing experience. My courses were on the theme about globalization. I learned some Italian, which is awesome, but I also was able to see a different perspective on the globalization and the impact that it's having not only in our communities, but it's having in the world, the economic side of it. And I was able to meet people from different backgrounds. I was in a classroom with students from Italy. I was with students from Germany and from Japan and from China. Their perspectives on globalization were very interesting. And I had lots of fun too. Italy's a wonderful country.
I saw that a lot of kids were getting into trouble because when they weren't in school, they weren't necessarily being watched, or they would kind of get into gangs and whatever. So they started Dove Missions, and we worked with them the whole week that we were in Puerto Plata. In the morning, we would go and did a classroom activity with them, whether it was about hygiene, proper eating, being active and being outside. And then we would go have lunch for a couple hours, and we would come back in the afternoon and just kind of play with them in their playground. We worked on their rooftop garden that they were trying to start. Another thing that I really enjoyed during the first week was that we got to work with the Muda school, and I never realized that there was such a big divide between the Haitian and Dominican communities in the Dominican Republic, and that Haitians were essentially treated as second-class citizens. I just had no idea that it was such a big deal, and I enjoyed learning about that and working with that orphanage, but it was heartbreaking to see that those kids, the Haitian kids of Haitian descent, were only allowed to go to school until like 4th grade. And the school that they were going to in general was just like run down and in the middle of the bate. And although we couldn't work with them for very long, I feel like we did some things that could leave a lasting effect, and that they could sit in their classrooms that were like newly painted and remember that we were there and we had some kind of positive effect on them.
When I was in DR, we were just like on the one day that we had free, and we were touring around the Santo Domingo, and it's its tourist side parts or whatever, and we ran into a little group of kids playing soccer, and we just started playing with them. A group of us got together and we played, and it was just beautiful how this sport could bring such a diverse group of people together and just enjoy it and have fun. Not all of us spoke Spanish. Not all of the kids that were with me spoke Spanish, so we couldn't even really communicate for the most part, but just the beauty of the sport and the passion for it brought all the kids together, and it was great. I really, really enjoyed that. The trip was just, it was amazing, you know? It was amazing in the sense that I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed working with the communities that were there in Santo Domingo and in Puerto Plata, but also I really enjoyed learning from them and learning how different their problems were, like their cultural difficulties from the ones that we face here, you know, and it made a really significant difference in my life to see that there's a lot more going on than what we see right here, and that a lot of other people need a lot of help as well, and it kind of gave me a push, a little bit of an inspiration to just keep going and keep working towards my goals and change policy here or in my native country, Colombia, or in DR, or pretty much anywhere in the world. Then that's another opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten, or that would have been extremely difficult and out of my reach to get had it not been for Goizueta.
We met a young man named Domingo, and he was the same age as most of us. We visited his house and saw the conditions in which he had to live and grow up, and it was a real eye-opening experience to all of us. But he was real happy and generous, so despite his upbringing, he still was a really good person. He was real friendly. When we were in Santo Domingo, we volunteered at an orphanage, and we played basketball, volleyball, danced with a lot of little kids.
We worked with children who don't have the resources we do, but they were just as curious and just as intelligent and just as funny and playful and loving as any kid you meet here in the United States, and they were willing to share so much with us. We got to teach a class on photosynthesis, and we got to teach the kids how to do a relay race, and you know, we even had an experience where like we would walk to the homes of these kids, and it would be so, I mean, it's unlike anything you would ever imagine to do as a college student in another country.
We volunteered in a school that was built for undocumented Haitian kids. It was built by funds through like missionaries and just like volunteers. The best part for me was just really learning about what was going on between Haiti, which is the poorest country on the Western Hemisphere, and the Dominican Republic. It's something that we can all get involved in, and we just didn't know how, and I think that gave us the steps to get involved and have a voice for them.
In the Dominican Republic, one of the big things we did was the first week we stayed in Santo Domingo, and while we were there we visited this girls' orphanage called Doña Chucha's. And there we just try to learn the issues facing these children and the environments that they're growing up in. And we just kind of were there to, you know, have fun with them, just, you know, be like a little light in their life, really. We learned about Puerto Plata and how dangerous it could be to children growing up, and exactly how much impact the missions has had on these children. There was this one kid, his name was Tobias, and he was about 3 years old. So I mean, I don't think he was in actual school yet, but he liked to come and hang out there because his brothers went. And he was just this really quiet kid, and he was like the cutest kid you could ever see, honestly. And one day he just kind of came up to me, and we were kind of inseparable after that point, really. Like, I would always hang out with him whenever we go there. I always try and watch out for him, make sure the other kids weren't really bullying him or anything or taking things from him. And you know, it was a really great experience. It was kind of rough when we left. I actually felt a little hurt that I wouldn't see him anymore, because the day before we didn't go, and so it was like we went and then we skipped one day and then we went again. And the coordinator of missions was telling me about how he was looking for me that whole day, and that really kind of struck a chord with me. And I just always doing all right, really.
What I've come to learn through my experiences at the Dominican Republic is that as Latinos, We speak differently, we eat different foods, and we come from different places, but our humanity, we're all the same. It was just a wonderful opportunity to be a part of these children's lives, and I hope I can continue to do that in the future.
Robert C. Goizueta's quotes, opportunities, ours to seize, ours to live, ours to defend, if not otherwise, ours to lose. That's what Goizueta means to me, because Goizueta gave me the opportunity to come to Georgia State and get an education. Without Goizueta, I wouldn't have been able to do that. My parents, they left everything they had in Costa Rica. They left their families. So my siblings and I could get an education, have opportunities here, and to reach the American dream. So Goizueta, for me, is one of the steps of achieving my American dream and my parents' American dream.
So for me, being a Goizueta is being someone who is strong, confident, respectful, who is a leader, who is not selfish and likes to help others, and also knows when to back down and let others take the lead. Being a Goizueta it's an honor, it's a privilege to have someone believe in you and give you the opportunity so that you can live out your dream and of higher education.
I think it's really about being a leader for yourself, for your community, for your family, for your school. Atlanta.
Being a Goizueta scholar means being ambitious. It means stopping at nothing to reach whatever goals you set for yourself. It means keeping your peers accountable. It means bringing your peers up.
To be a Goizueta scholar is to be a strong individual, to overcome obstacles. These past 4 years were not easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. Being a Goizueta scholar means being a good friend, a good brother, a good son, a good Latino.
I am Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta. Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
Yo soy 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 Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
I am Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
Yo soy Goizueta.
One last question. Why did you do this documentary?
Oh man. I decided to make this documentary because I really wanted to show what we've accomplished in these past years as individuals, as Goizueta scholars, as Latinos, and I hope it serves as an inspiration to the younger generations to continue what we've done here and to be the best that they can be. Yeah? Okay, pues.
I would say to them that I am absolutely proud. Don't get me emotional. I believe we work with a very special group of students that are passionate about their community, and they're passionate about they're changing what it means to be a Latino in education. So thank you.